Alright guys, so Chase went to work and he is working for like 2 weeks straight with like 1 or 2 days off in between, right? So he leaves for work today and one of my friends messaged me because she was going to give us a couple chickens from her farm after a fox attack, but then she said she couldn't find them. So today she was like, oh hey, Tractor Supply is having chick days. I was like, oh, I'm well aware. I know. So I was like trying to justify it to her. I was like, I don't like any of the breeds that they have this year, and the people that work at Tractor Supply typically don't know how to like sex the chickens. We don't know if we're getting roosters or hens or whatever, and we don't know if they're sick or not. I don't know. I don't think I'll be getting Tractor Supply chicks this year. So then, a couple minutes after that, Chase texts me while he's at work, and he was like, hey, can we get a couple meat chickens in a few weeks? So I get to researching, and I was like, okay, well, I wanted to get other breeds this year, but that's okay. If you want some meat chickens, we can do that. So I start researching on my favorite online hatchery, and unfortunately the minimum order, like, it's free shipping, which is great, but the minimum order is 25, and we can't house 25 chicks. I mean, 25 chicks we could house, but once they get bigger, we don't have the place for them. So I was like, I texted him back and I said our best bet is to get them from Tractor Supply after all, because Tractor Supply, the minimum order is 6, blah, blah, blah. So what a coincidence, we're out of chicken food. So I'm on my way to Tractor Supply right now, and right before I left, I may have built a little hutch that I bought. It's a rabbit hutch, but I bought it because I wanted it for quail, but it would also work as a chick house while they're growing up. And I bought that for that purpose because Chase was finally like, okay, we can have chicks again this spring. So I may have already built that, and now I'm on my way to Tractor Supply. I wanted to get it built before it started raining, and now it's raining, so I'm glad I got that done. I'm gonna go pick up some food for my babies, and like my big chickens, and I also have to buy some new gloves for like cleaning out the coop and stuff and working outdoors, because Duke, my French Mastiff, chewed the fingers off of my old work gloves that I liked a lot. So chicken food and gloves are the only things on today's list for shopping at Tractor Supply. But remember, it's chick days. So now I might have this wild plan up my butt to go buy 6 chicks. And I was gonna add a duck, but then I was like, well, ducks need medicated food, chicks need unmedicated food, and so that just wouldn't work out well, because then I would have to separate them, and I don't really have the place to do that. So chicks it is, just meat chicks. And then Chase texts me while he's at work. Yesterday he worked like a 12-hour shift or something. He texted me just now, and he's only been at work since noon, and it's 2 o'clock. He's been at work for 2 hours. And he said, oh my gosh, babe, we're on our way home. Isn't that exciting? And I was like, what? What do you mean? And he was like, yeah, isn't it great? And I said, oh yeah, babe, that's awesome. You can help me mix up the chicken food out back. And he just texted me back, like literally just texted me back and said, oh, of course, I just have to change first. So I think while I'm having him mix up chicken food, I'm gonna like run the chicks back into this little hutch. But that's at the back of the house, and he might start to wonder what I'm doing. So guys, wish me luck in these endeavors, and I will keep you posted. So they didn't have oyster shells, which I needed. I do a 3-part mix of my food. I do cracked corn. I like to do layer crumble, and then I like to do my oyster shells as a 3-part mix for their food. Well, they didn't have oyster shells. Right next to where the oyster shells were the little food containers where the chicks' food would typically go into when you're feeding them. So then I heard all of this chirping, and it was so cute. And, well, they've got ducks, they've got chicks of all kinds, breeds I don't even want. I got 6 barred rocks, and then I got one, it's called an Asian. I've never heard of that breed before, but I'm hoping it's a female, and if it's not, well, then we have plenty of people who have farms that would be fine with taking a rooster. But yep, got one of those. And last year I did really well with their sexing by their wing length. I only picked out chicks with the longest wings that I could find, and I wound up with all hens and no roosters. So I did pretty well, and I told the girl, I was like, hey, can you get me the one with the longest wings, one of those black ones, which is the Asian, and just one. And she said okay, and there were a ton in there, and she tried to chase them around, and I'm pretty sure I got a rooster, but that's okay, someone will take it later. But it's a chick that I could love. And then I accidentally got 2 ducks. Not sure how that happened. They just wound up in another second box. She said that chickens and ducks don't get along. Yes, they do. They get along just fine. Plenty of people have their chickens and ducks in the runs together. As long as they're raised together, they do just fine, I think. Or you could introduce them like at night, and then, well, I do a slow introduction where I have them sitting next to each other for about 6 months so that they can see into each other's cages or enclosures, see each other right next to each other, but they're not like touching each other. And then I open it up in the middle of the night and let them do their own thing in the morning. But anyway, wish me luck, because I got 7 chicks and 2 ducks. That's 9 birds, and I only plan to get 6 today, when actually I plan to get 0. So thank you, Tractor Supply. We will see how this goes, but Chase is on board right now with helping me mix chicken food. I'm gonna bring the wheelbarrow up to my Jeep, pull the normal chicken food out, and leave the chick feed in here for now. And then I'm going to grab the chicks and bring them through the front door of the house, through the back door, and put them into their little hutch. We'll see how this goes. Wish me luck. Okay, so Chase is home, and so is his roommate. And Chase asked me, he's sharpening his chainsaw blade right now, and he asked me, he was like, hey babe, you get any chicks? Well, he said chickens actually, but same thing. I said, no, I didn't. And he's like, oh, I'm surprised. I thought that you'd get some chicks while you were at Tractor Supply today. So now I'm walking around the back of the house and out the front door, hoping I don't ruin my little fancy dancy Ugg slippers walking in the mud because it's rainy out. And I'm gonna put these little guys into their new home. I'm trying to open the gate with one hand because I got a bunch of stuff. But hopefully his roommate stays in his little auxiliary room with him while he's sharpening that blade for a little bit to distract him some, but his roommate doesn't know either. So, yeah, wish me luck. Update. I guess I was making too much noise.
huh?
It was supposed to be there.
Yeah. I'm sure it was. What are these fuckers, Kilo? How many did you get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 chickens and 3 ducks? 2 ducks?
2 ducks. Not 3, don't worry. Didn't get crazy.
Or just come right out the front?
Yeah, it just slides out. But I want to put something in that little gap while they're that small.
That gap in the back?
In the front, where you just put your thumb. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Babe! Kilo, don't eat my chicks. Well, it went better than expected. Chase. So his roommate heard the chicks outside when I was transferring them from the little boxes into the cage. And I guess his roommate was all interested all of a sudden in what I was doing. And he's like, oh, she did get chicks. And I looked up at him through the door and I was like, he's like, oh, she didn't get chicks. But then Chase was like, she did get chicks. So, anyway, Chase came out there and he had a smile on his face and he saw the 2 little ducklings and he got an even bigger smile and he went and grabbed them immediately and started cuddling them. So all is well. I laid down some, I know some of you probably noticed that it's a mesh bottom in their little hutch that we put them in. Not to worry, I already put stuff down so that their little feet can't get trapped and they can't break legs or anything. So we've got everything under control. They're happy, it seems like, so far. Time to have an early dinner. I guess I'll have dinner again later, but late lunch, early dinner, whatever. I'm glad that that went better than I expected. Bye, guys.